The younger people are starting to get more into it. Black Americans, we still going to Dubai, we still going to Cancun. There's a viral story in the United States right now where four Black Americans got kidnapped in Mexico. Two died, and the cartel wind up turning over the kidnappers. It's like a big story. We still want to go to DR, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cancun. So sometimes it's still a struggle to get Black Americans to come to Africa because of stereotypes, especially when you start dealing with the older population, our elders, our elders. They still say things that, unfortunately, no disrespect to anybody, they ask me serious questions. Are you going to eat? Are they going to eat me? Am I going to get kidnapped? I still get questions like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes because it's the church. The church takes people to the poorest parts of any country to do missionary work. And then people bring those stories back as if this is what it is. Be patient with the Black American. Because with the Black American economic power, Black Americans have money. And as they continue to learn that they can really make good profits here in Ghana, done correctly, because a lot of Americans are coming here and going broke.
So keyword, do it correctly.
Do it correctly.
Okay.
It's options.
We've got about 5 minutes to go. Now, I just want you to talk us through your installment as a chief, because I've seen some very interesting videos. When did this happen? How did it happen? What surprised you about the ceremony? Let's talk us through that.
What surprised me most about the ceremonies is it showed how much my family has cared for me. As I continue to talk to more people and as I continue to learn more, they put me through, like I see on the television right now. My name is Nana Kofi Kokojufo Emezikan the first. That's actually the installment of my stool because I'm the first. So we had to actually bring in my stool. It has to have its own proper ceremonies.
Yes, indeed.
And what I was surprised to really learn is that they made sure that my chieftaincy is a legit chieftaincy. It's not a ceremonial position. It was going through. I've gone through the proper rites. I'm still waiting for my official Gazette papers to come back. But I've gone through the proper rites, the proper rituals. They did the right consultations. As I was explaining to you off camera, that I'm part of the traditional council of Edina.
So you sit in the meetings?
Yeah. And so I sit in on the meetings. I'm ceremonially installed as over the entire Anamata traditional Edna area. And it's been a blessing how great care they took to make sure. They say, no, Rashad, you joined our family, you contribute to the family, you moved in the community, you're helping build the community. We want to honor you the right way. We're respectfully to anybody. We're not going to just give you a ceremonial stool. You're not paying people under the table. You may pay for the extra pressing and the pictures. You see all the pictures and presses and things, but we're going to take care of you the right way. Some of the things that's surprising is how many meetings. And we talked about that. It's just
we meet a lot in Ghana.
It's a lot for me. It's a lot for me. Sometimes I wake up in the morning. In America, I'm used to waking up in the morning. Hey, I feel like doing this today. Let me put this in motion. Here it's, okay, we have to have a meeting. All the right people have to be in place for the meeting. Then we have a meeting about the meeting. Then we have the next meeting about the last meeting. And then we're, so sometimes I'm trying to learn to be more patient because sometimes you be inspired and you got to go with the wave. That's a tip for entrepreneurs. When you get that inspiration, that burning passion, go with the wave. So sometimes that's America. That's Harlem slang.
No, I know.
Ride, bigger bourgeois. Ride the wave.
Yes, ride the wave.
So when I go through meetings, sometimes it takes the fire out of me, but it's like, no. You need it to be long burning. It shouldn't just be a spark plug. It needs to be long.
So you're learning things. They're also learning stuff from you. I'm sure.
Yeah. They're learning that we can't just be having meeting after meeting.
So I'm just curious. Normally when they install a chief, they give him like a stool wife. Did they give you a stool wife?
Not yet.
Looking forward to getting one.
It's talked. It's talk about it. But certain things like that is trivial. Like I don't care about that. Not right now. Not right now.
Where do you see yourself?
Is it trivial? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Forgive me. I don't put anything under.
No, at all. We've just got about 2 minutes left. Where do you see your life here going with your traditional position as Nana Kofi Kukudufu the first, and then your other Africa culture. Where do you see this going?
It's already intertwined. Even again, my village said, we're not going to give you just this stool or that stool. We want to give you a stool that's naturally intertwined in your life. So I'm chief of tourism. My life is based on travel.
Yes.
So even, that's one of the passions that I have, is that everything always stays intertwined, just so I can get paid, I can be successful just being me.
Being you.
Just the Great Migration in Black America, which took place from 1916 to 1970, where Black Americans left slave states and then they dispersed throughout the United States. They went to New York City, where my family went to, Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And Harlem turned into the cultural hub. That's where the dancers went, the speakers, the artists. So when you hear about Langston Hughes, when you hear about Malcolm X, when you hear about all these wonderful artists, especially when you talk about the 60s and 70s, they all moved to Harlem to have their ministries, have their arts and things of that nature. So that's where I'm from.
And then when growing up in Harlem, what did you get to know about Africa or Ghana? Did you hear anything about Ghana, Africa?
Yeah, my father, he was raised Christian, but when he moved to Harlem in 1965, he became more of a traditionalist, somebody involved in Black empowerment. So even from the young age of 5 years old, my father taught me about African spirituality. He taught me about the great kings and queens of Africa, whether it was West Africa and King Hannibal. He taught me a lot about Ptah-hotep and ancient Kemet, which is modern Egypt. And he always taught me that Black is beautiful. Don't believe what you see about Africa on television. Africa is a wonderful place, and I want you to know one day. I know how young I was because my family is from New York City housing projects. That would be considered the village here. We moved into a new apartment when I was 6 years old, and my favorite sports team won the championship that year. And I remember celebrating in our new apartment, but I remember my lessons starting in our old apartment. So that's how I knew I was as young as 5. He used to play Bob Marley, a lot of Afrocentric music. He used to teach me ancestral worship. My mother used to get mad when we made food, and he used to make a separate plate for the ancestors.
Yes, like libations.
Yeah, libations. He taught me how to pour libations as young as 5. So that's why I always kind of have like a self-pride when it comes to the repatriation of Black Americans back here. I was raised that way. I'm not a tour operator who's saying, oh, it's money in this now. Or even Black American tour operators, you look at their websites, they doing Paris, they doing Australia, Greenland. Now it's, let's go to Ghana to help you find your roots. No, I was raised that way, and I always had a passion for Africa as a whole, as a continent. And Ghana and my passion for the transatlantic slave trade, knowing my roots from here, that's what even made it stronger.